In a world where hopium and common sense collide, starring the CryptoKeeper and BlockchainCrusader. Welcome to Debate Crypto. Question everything, trust nothing. It's your boy CryptoKeeper. We're here on a TA Thursday in the afternoon. So we've got the one and only, bring him on here, Magic Internet Money. Magic, how you doing, brother?
Always fantastic, man. Happy to be here on the new schedule.
Glad to have you on. Dude, the new schedule is going to be interesting because we have a lot of people that are in the crypto space that are full-time, but then we have a lot of people who currently, like myself, are either running other businesses or work for somebody. I mean, it's not, I guess, from what I've seen, it's kind of a toss-up, maybe a 50-50, where there's a lot of people that are full-time and then there's a lot of people that aren't. So we're feeling it out. We're doing it. Ultimately, for us, it was a family decision. We, Miguel's got some stuff going on. Crusader's got some stuff going on. Yep. I've got stuff going on. And it just made sense. 7:30 was a tough time slot too. I think for a lot of people, what we were also seeing was that the West Coast, it was people like still in their work day, but getting off the end of work, which is usually distracted, whatever. And then on the East Coast, a lot of people were eating dinner. So we're going to give this a shot. What's that? You say you're eating your dinner right now? You're eating your post-workout
having some steak and veggies, man.
Heck yeah, I like it. I just had some turkey, rice, and green beans. You know how we
could do this every Thursday, and we'll bring our lunches and we'll compare, bro.
That's right. We will just we'll just do clean eating Thursdays instead of TA Thursday. So, Crypto Fam, we're glad that you're here. As always, it's TA Thursday. We're going to dive into TA. Magic is going to be doing that. Let me change. Hold on a second. Why is my background so silly? Where are we going here? Hold on a second. I don't know why. That'll work. All right, cool. Make sure if you're not already involved in Danger Close Alpha to jump in there. We have got a Twitter space tonight. Magic, check this out. We got a Twitter space tonight. Now, I'm not going to be able to say on YouTube what it is, but I'll refer to it. So tonight, we're going to be talking about something that happened in March of 2020 and the things that were pushed out as a result of it. We're going to be talking about that on a Twitter space. We're going to be talking about your boy, his name rhymes with Schmandrew Late. We're going to be talking about him, and then we are going to be talking about free speech. So we're going to have debates. If you guys are looking to have some fun tonight, we've got a wild group of people that are going to be there. Blonde Broker is going to be hosting that this evening. We're going to have some fun over there on Twitter. That's 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you guys have nothing going on, well, shoot, even if you do have something going on, you might want to tune in. So excited for that.
I'll definitely tune in. I'll have it up in the background for sure.
Yeah, dude, that'll be exciting. So other than that, Crypto Fam, you know what to do. Make sure to follow Magic Internet Money, leading crypto. They've been killing it. You guys are doing live streams. What time every morning?
9 a.m. Central Time, 10 a.m. Eastern.
Okay, 9 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Eastern, and they are diving into the charts over there. They're doing teaching.
Missed it this morning, so you guys are getting a firsthand look at anything we've got in 2 days. So this we're getting it's all exclusive here.
Let's go. Yeah, and then if you guys are looking to learn more in terms of farther than just a live stream and want to get more heavily involved, you can get involved in their Discord. And so do you have a link for that? I need to start putting that up down below.
Yeah, I'll send you one. And
send me a link for that.
In there.
Yeah, we'll definitely do it. Let's check out the markets. Let's see what's going on over there, and then we'll dive into some TA, show a little bit of love there. The markets, as many of you probably know, if you're paying any sort of attention, are, drum roll please, yes, they're relatively flat. The global market's at 818.47 billion with a B dollars. That's down 0.5%. Bitcoin seems like 16 has been the first two numbers forever, but you need to get used to that. It is a bear market. I got to tell you, I've been through this before, and it does drag a little bit. But that being said, Ethereum at $1,253. ETH's been up almost 5% over 7 days, so can't really complain too much there. Thankfully, Tether and USDC are holding firm at that $1-ish number. BNB up about 5% on the week. Everything's up on the week because we had a little bit of a pump. I think it was yesterday. And Cardano, maybe we'll talk about that in a little bit. I know we're going to talk about maybe Solana here in a little bit, but Cardano's up almost 10.58%. Do you know anything about that, Magic? Is there something going on that I'm not aware of, or is
Not that I know of. I don't have my pulse to the altcoins quite as well as some of these other guys.
Yeah.
I have really broad targets on them though, and you know that. I put in where I think a macro bottom is going to be at. I set my alerts, and like honestly, I don't go back to the charts much. I'm not day trading Cardano, so for me, I wouldn't know. I could look at the chart and find out later, but
I was just curious. I didn't know if you knew anything. I heard side note before we jump into the charts. I heard you got almost crucified the other day for coming after effectively a price target on XRP. Can you tell me what happened there?
Yeah. Doing another live stream, and I got asked if the lawsuit ended favorably for XRP, and you know, we're talking what would the price target be in the short term, not like a long term. I'm not talking like years down the road. I'm just saying, okay, in the short term, $1.09 would be where I'd be getting out of that asset. I'd probably be taking profits along the way. And, you know, the argument is we're in a down market still. We don't have a confirmed bottom. Everything's moving sideways and down. I don't think that when the lawsuit ends, it goes straight to an all-time high. I think that's a little bit illogical. That doesn't mean it won't pump 300% like QNT did off its lows, you know, or more. And so it's one of those things where as a trader, I look at that and go, yeah, I would totally want to trade that opportunity. And there's still be
a 300% move. You still it's still a 300% move when people are like, no, it's got to go. What did somebody tell you it was going to go to $20?
Yeah, $20 overnight. And I got they let me know, man. I was like, I just told them, hey, dude, like it's only my opinion. And at the end of the day, it is only my opinion, guys. Maybe that does happen. And if it does, you guys come like, that guy is an idiot. He missed out. And that's fine. But, you know, I'm not going to put too much stock in high price targets like that.
I want to tell you that if it went to $20, I'm doing some quick mental math, but I'm really good at math. It would be at it would be a little bit over $1 trillion market cap, just to be clear for everybody that's out there. Just a cool trillion with the T on the front there. If it ran to $20, it would be over $1 trillion market cap.
In the words of Benjamin Cohen, what's a few $1 trillion amongst friends, right?
Exactly. What's a few trillion? No big deal at all. All right, cool. Let's start off a little bit different today, Magic. What I'd like to do is, you know, a lot of what's happening in the macro markets start off, whether we like it or not, it starts off in the stock market. And I know that you get into the stock market and pay attention to the stock market. It's a really important thing to see as far as order flow and things, you know, with the crypto markets kind of following. Can we start over in the stock market? Can we do that?
Definitely. No. So SPX and DXY are usually what I chart to kind of get a general idea, and a little bit of Tesla as well. If we wanted, we could even dive into that one later if it was if we had time. That is, you know, I'm not trying to monopolize your afternoon here.
Yeah, let's check it out.
In terms of the SPX, it's a lot like Bitcoin. We have a lot of very similar levels. I've been working on my color scheme for you guys as well. Blue is support. I assume that's red up there. I'm pretty sure I nailed that one.
It is. So yep, nailed it.
Resistance. All right, sweet. So you've got some new levels coming into the new year, and you can see that we were looking for this zone because you had a bearish continuation pattern essentially, and from there you're looking for the 50% mark, but also you had some key supports coming in here, some six month outline support on the high time frame, along with the key 2021 open. So you knew this box was probably going to provide some level of bounce, and you are getting that here and there now. Price really does need to get going over like 38.85. I think if you can get above that level and live there, you know, you stand the chance of coming back and filling in this very small gap up here at like 39.67. But coming all the way back up to like 4,000 is not out of the question. However, I think I would be prepared if I was a stock person for some kind of ugly sideways action. And depending on what kind of a trader you are, that's going to be, you know, good for you. You know, if it's good for you because you can trade ranges, that's great. If you're not into trading these tiny micro moves is what we'll call them, because the stock market really doesn't move that much. You know, it's better just to stay out. And I think most of your audience isn't trading it, but they are curious to know what's going to happen. So if you do break down below, what is that, 37.81, and you start closing below this level, this blue box, it's a quick drop down to probably $3,600 and maybe even making new lows. And that's right in line with your overall trend as well. So that is one of those things where, you know, the trend is your friend, right? And I do have a specific setup for this one. I'm not putting too much weight into it just yet, mainly because you don't want to front run these things, but you want to have the idea. You know, the idea behind trading is to have a plan and where you want to be involved in the market. Now let me get to the, it's annuals. That's what I'm looking for.
And as you're pulling this up, just a quick question. Are you currently, like when it comes to the stock market, are you, because it's such small movements, back, forth, sideways, like the movements are so small, is it something that you do stay away from, or it's something that you are actively trading?
On day trades, I do stay away from it now.
Because of that, because the volatility is so low.
And I'm really comfortable with the platforms I'm on already. I'm not as familiar with like MetaTrader or NinjaTrader, to start doing things with the stock market in terms of that day trading. I do like to pick up stocks if I can, value stocks, and and some of these like SPX, funds and stuff when I can, if I think it's a good value. I think it's very important to be diversified. So that's why I kind of keep track of it. Also, general trend has been, until Bitcoin decouples from traditional markets, if the trend for the stock market's down, the trend for, unfortunately, crypto is down as well.
Yeah.
And that ties into the Fed and money printing and stuff. And as much as we don't like that, because that's why we're all in crypto, because we don't like that, we have to live with it for now.
Still there.
So as a trader and investor, I still keep an eye on it. But for me, you can see you've got a very clear yearly downtrend. So this is a regression. It's a tool that we use. I've got some custom settings on it, and it's just mapped out the entire 2022 year. And you can see it's gotten things very, very well. So when we're looking for a setup, what we notice is we have some inefficiencies down here that are still unfulfilled. And so as we start coming down in some of these, supports, we can start kind of outlining and saying, where do I want to be involved in this market? Where might I be interested in taking a longer term position potentially? And so for me, the 3 drives pattern comes to mind, because this is actually something that Bitcoin put in at its first peak in 2021. So it would look something like this. And so this would imply that sometime in the middle of February that we'd be coming down to potentially make a new low. Now, this is only hypothetical because you're at support. You can't just like open a short here and be like, well, Magic said we're going down to 33.72. That's where we're going, and that's where I'll close it. This is only if I get to this region. Am I interested in actually taking a position? I want to gauge the reaction and then see if we can't take this back to the upside. Now, this is indicative of new all-time highs. I wouldn't necessarily go that far, but basically what it's showing you is your first target is going to be the
$4,000 range.
Yeah, it's the beginning of the pattern technically. So on my Twitter, when Bitcoin topped out at 2021 at 64K, I nailed the bottom within $100 because the pattern start zone is actually the completion zone on that. And you had other things that were lining up there. I was like, this is where I'm going to take my position. And it just panned out really well for me at that time. I didn't get to short the top on that one, but it did panned out anyway. We went to 69K and things were fine, but this is what I'd be looking for. And so if that's the case, we'll trade it either way. It doesn't matter. You trade the charts. Now it ties into the DXY a little bit. So this is a level that I had on my chart for a couple weeks, was looking for this to get tagged, and it front ran me initially. This is just an important key low right here. And so it front ran it right here by just a little bit, because you can see that the coordinates on this box is 103.418, and this low right here is 103.448. So it front ran it by just a little bit, but then we finally came down and tapped it right here. And this was my, hey, I would look for a turnaround. This looks like it wants to push. If you can hold above 104.775 on the DXY, that would be a really important area to flip in terms of support. And you can see that you've got a little mini range here that's been going on since 13th of December here. So you've been down here for 2-3 weeks ranging, and you're trying to break out of this. So if it breaks above this level and starts holding on as support, your next area of interest is all the way up at 107. And we all know that if the DXY is ripping to the upside, that's not good for crypto. It's probably not good for risk on assets. So that's the theory behind it, and how you want to trade these things in unison. Now, if this closes below here, SPX goes to the upside, DXY starts dumping back further. It does a failed breakout here, like a swing fail of the highs, right here where all these highs are coming in, and you start closing below them. You might look at this and say, that's a sign of weakness, and price is going to continue up on this move. That's if you're a correlation trader. Me personally, I don't get into that too much, but it's just interesting to note and kind of keep an eye on. And I used to not track these things too much, because I do believe that you can get by without trading and looking at these assets as well. However, for macro trends, this is actually really, really useful. One of the things that we did on the DXY on your show was I gave Bill Noble some hopium one day when we were completing this back in the summer. I said, here's your hopium. This is a reversal pattern. It almost fulfilled its 100% target on the range expansion. Came up.
Oh, I remember you talking about that.
Yeah. Yep. Bearish reversal pattern. Down we go. And so now you're looking down here at about 102.21, which we haven't tagged yet. And if you lose that level, I mean, you're probably heading back all the way to like 96 on the DXY, which is a really insane drop. Not good for the dollar, but really, really good for probably cryptocurrency.
Yeah, for sure.
So for us, we're all excited, and then I never see those targets I maybe have on other assets. I'll pull over to Bitcoin
And just a heads up, Magic, when you do normally I can like take off your screen. I'm charging my mouse right now. So when you are ready to pull down, just stop
Just
screen
manually
sharing
do
and
it.
it'll pull it back up. Just letting you know.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah. So this is kind of a messier chart than I'd like, but I think I have a cleaner one on here. And this was something that we've done on your show, and I've done publicly on our live streams in the morning.
Okay.
So we had a really, really nice reversal pattern going into the last FOMC meeting here. We'll go to the 4 hour. I think it's just cleaner this way. So you have what's called a shark pattern. And, you know, the important of this isn't to necessarily note that it's a pattern. What you're noticing is you have fib convergence. So you're looking one to be at least at an 886 and then at least at a 1618, like Fibonacci convergence. And now the kicker on this was, as we were approaching this level, you were looking for this X right here, the start of the pattern, or this local high to be swept. And this was the key level. Okay, if we close above this, it's good. If we go up above it like we did right here, which was perfect,
just wicked up,
and come back and back test it, or, you know, close below it, it's a bearish sign. And so then you can derive, where's my range? Okay, we now have a valid structure. How can I make this beneficial to me? And so the easiest way to do that is to start marking out the pivot points, the A, C, D, X, all those things. Everybody looks at those and probably goes, those are just lines on a chart. But you can start mapping them out and making quite a bit of sense of the chart. And so you'll see that they start showing up here.
I see what you're doing. You're adding horizontal lines at those points.
Yeah, and then we're going to add a box. And the only reason we're doing that is because it just makes it easier for people to visualize what I'm talking about. And so now we can add boxes. Okay, so we have support. Technically, this one should be red, but it's not. And this is now your range, and we can get rid of this. We no longer need this. It's completely not useless, but it's just not useful at the moment. And so this is your mid-range. This is your low of the range and high of the range. It's been established. It doesn't take a genius to do this, is what I tell people, but it does take a little bit of like slow down, pay attention to what you're doing, and you've got very clear levels.
Yeah,
clear
16,950 is just a continuously, it keeps getting rejected.
And it's all because, you know, you identified what was going on structure-wise. Now you've got a really clear resistance. You get above this, there's a pretty good chance I think 17.8, that 17.6 to 17.8 region, you know, it's going to be resistance. But, you know, at that point, you could try to long this to that area first and then start targeting this area up here if you're looking for that continued move. So price does need to get going here. Now, what you don't want to see is, how do we know when we're coming back to this zone right here? You can do several things. You can use volume. You can use, you know, horizontals, whatever it may be. I'm choosing to use the 2023 open in this instance. And the reason I'm choosing to use that is because if you were to break below this level, you're probably going to take these two lows right here around 16.2. I just don't think that there's anything that's stopping us from at least coming down to this low right here at 15,984. And then I think the actual target I have is 15,774 in that, for that scenario. So we're looking back down into this box. We're looking at an area you want to get involved in. And so the way I worded it the other day was, where do you want to be involved in price? You really don't want to be involved right here. You don't want to be involved right here, really. But you do want to be involved is up here. We have a structural
Don't diddle
high.
In the middle.
Yeah, you don't diddle in the middle. You got structural lows. So if I'm looking for a trade, I'm looking to, you know, protect these highs if I'm looking for shorts. And if I'm looking for longs, you know, you can find trades here. And I did find one, but it was a technical setup and my invalidation is super, super low, meaning that, you know, I've got a really tight stop loss on it and it's justified. Okay. So, you know, if you're at that level, you can do it. And I have taken profits on it already. So my fees are paid. If I get stopped out, I make a little bit of money. It's not the end of the world.
How much how much higher are you, sorry to cut you off, but how much higher are you going into that it's resistance right now, that 16,950-ish? I mean, if it taps up in there, or does it need to close out? I'll show you what I'm looking at. To close the candle there before you, I mean, where would your stop be? I guess.
So I'll show you what I did for the guys in the group this past week. I gave them one key level and it was 16,611. Okay. And that level and 17,174. If you're really looking at this and you were just saying, I only want to trade if we're going to break above and make a move to the new highs, or I want to trade if we're going to break down. And so it is a patience game, and it's tough, man. It really is, because we look at these markets every day. So 16,611 and 17,174. We're looking for weekly closures above one of these two. These are what is called a breaker setup. So you can see that you've swung fail this low right here. Let me zoom in a little bit. You see how you've taken the lows and then you fail to close below it. Same to the upside. You've taken the highs, you're failing to close above it. So you know where resistance is coming in at. And a change of behavior would be if a weekly candle closed above this and held it as support. Now, if you just wick above it and close the candle like halfway above it and then immediately back down, that's going to look a lot like what we did on the way down. You can see that we actually gave this level up and close below it right here. So this is where I started getting interested in trading this level. And I got like 3 or 4 trades off this level in a couple days. And it's just resistance, 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 flipped right into support, swung fail to, this is where I got my long right here. And my technical setup on that, for anyone that's wondering, oh, that's an ugly VWAP, was the VWAP and a little bit of order flow. So as you were coming in here, this actually front ran me on my target because I was looking for the 618 and it did not give me the 618. It front ran me by like, I want to say like 20 or 30 bucks. It was not ideal, but that happens. And so from there, I can turn around and go, okay, well, how do I get involved in this move? Because I think this move is going to go back to 16,900 and some change. And that's a good chunk of change these days for what we were used to, right? You'll notice right here, you reclaimed the VWAP. And then I don't know if I have exo charts up over here. I'll show you what you could have looked at. When you got above the VWAP, you could see buyers coming in and supporting the move, essentially. I'm not going to pull it up because I'm going to have to hunt and find that one low. But you could see buying imbalances entering the market as soon as you reclaimed this. They were putting these traders underwater that were going in short. And then new buyers were entering the market supporting that this move was going to have legs. And so you could confidently take your entry, put your stop loss below down here on this wick, because that's now your invalidation, and you've got a really clean move up from there. And so that's kind of how I went about it. Okay. And so now we're at resistance. Obviously, it's a big take profit area. I haven't closed that trade entirely though, because I am hunting for a swing long, to be upfront with you. You know, I've been vocal about this. I'm looking for something to long. Hunting. Yeah, because, well, I mean, we've been going down for so long, and that doesn't mean we can't continue down. It's just at some point you have to ask yourself, are swing shorts really the play? Is the best trade right now to look for a long-term short? It's really not. I think we're getting to that point in the market where looking for longs is going to be justified. It's just a matter of finding one that fits your risk criteria and makes sense, you know, as for me as a trader anyway, because if you're
to be clear, when you're saying looking for longs, you're not specifically talking about, you're just talking about some sort of a move upward. I know you have projections and all of that obviously as well, but just to be clear to everybody on the stream, Magic's not saying, hey, I'm looking for a long coming up soon, head towards all-time highs. Just saying,
no, yeah, I'm looking to capitalize on like a 20% move or something. You know, I feel like we're getting that point in a range where we're going to see
that'd be a big move right now though.
That's a huge move, and it would stop out a lot of shorts. It stands to make sense. The issue is we just haven't done anything overly bullish yet. Like even if we pulled up the old chart I was just showing you with the really basic resistances there, you can see that you're still making lower highs and lower lows. So we do need to see price get going, in my opinion, if we are going to actually do anything with it. And if we do get that move, like let's say we break out of 17,174, it heads up to 18,118, you know, this high right up here for that swing fail, clears it, you know, 19,150 is on deck, in my opinion. I think I have that marked over on this chart. Hard for me to remember which charts have what, but do this enough, actually get pretty good at it.
I see that.
Yeah. But staying organized, you know, so you have an NPOC here from the prior range, and I'll pull up the prior range so you guys can see what I'm talking about. Now on TradingView, this is a 40 tick volume profile. So it does show you that this is the volume point of control. Now you're splitting hairs up here, but if you were to dive into a more in-depth platform like ATAS and you merged all this data, you actually see that $20,000 is the point of control volume wise, and that this is the time point of control, meaning you spent the most time at the bottom of the range when we were
for how long of a time period?
For however long this was, from June 10th all the way over to the dump.
That's kind of what I was asking. I didn't know when.
Yeah, it's a really big range. Okay, it's an important one. If you get back above 19,150, I really think that at that point, you know, I have this marked off right here as resistance, but we have not taken highs in so long that I think at that point you could start targeting the local highs and say, man, I think that we could run some of these. And I'm not saying the move's going to get out of hand, but this is where your obvious take profits are if you're a trader, and you're just, if it gets really, really out of hand, 26,724 is kind of the level that I would be looking
that'd
for.
be a nice,
that would take out every single high. But you know, that's all very speculative, because again, so I'm still hunting for that long, looking for it. And I'm
just hoping for your sake you've exited out of the short that you're still in currently.
I'm in that short, man.
I know you are. That's what I'm saying. You're still in that. You got to be.
No, I'll manage that position according. But so part of being able to kind of take a very relaxed view of positions right here and looking for them is because I've held that hedge for so long, and it's my invalidation so far away that I know I'm guaranteed to make money on that trade no matter what, in a sizable amount. And so for me, it's one of those things where it now gives me the luxury to say, okay, can I find a swing long position and kind of double dip a little bit? That way I'm hedged. Like, let's say this is the low.
Makes sense.
And then I bought the low. I didn't sell the top, but I've got a swing short I can now close.
You
And
didn't
that
have
money
to get out of the position
Yeah.
that ultimately has been such a huge position that you could see still dropping further, possibly, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
and so
effectively.
I'm just protecting myself a little bit because you can't just be all on one side of the,
Yeah.
the table all the time. You can't just be like, it's a down market, we're only going down. You can take that approach until it bites, you bites your hand, but like I don't see the point in that. I don't think that's as much fun. I don't like to lose money like that. So
Yeah.
you're going to lose money regardless. It's just that's not how I would choose to do it with stubbornness. I don't think that's the best way to go about it. So
I've lost money that way before, by the way.
oh, dude, everybody lost money in the bull run that way. The top's not in, I mean, like,
Yeah.
don't get me wrong, like it happens. But, and the local time frames, if you broke back above, 17,174, one thing that is supporting the idea we come up to this box right here is you can see I've got something called a single print. We've talked about this before. This is essentially an inefficiency and price. There's nothing here. Once you get inside of this, it's going to fill pretty quickly. And so you'll probably see us make that move through this region. I do think there's some resistance between
so it'll blast through there when it gets
yeah,
into
generally
that
they go pretty quick. So you got to think fast move down, fast move up, right?
Okay.
And that's kind of what you're looking for. There's no real resistance. Just like right here, you see these big, well, I guess they're white, but these big green candles. What happened when we got back to them? We just went straight through them, So same with right here, big move up, straight down through.
That's crazy, dude. I've never looked at that across the board as you're showing one move versus another. They're big moves, and then you move to the same area going horizontally, and then boom, big move down.
Now when a trend is really strong, sorry, I'm like munching. I know that's it.
No, you're good, dude. You're good.
Got me a Brussels sprout, so it was more
At least you're eating something healthy.
Yeah,
keep those muscles hydrated.
Trying to get big like you, Keeper. When I grow up, that's what I want to be. No, yeah, no. When you look at pricing, it's pretty simple. Like one thing to note about single prints and these big moves up. So if a trend is really, really strong, I'll see if I can't find an instance of this. Yeah, like right here. So when a trend is really strong, you see how we didn't fill this one in? You actually made a new high. Yep. When a trend is really strong, you'll defend this. Like you can quantify these single prints. So like right now, they're kind of pseudo being defended because we haven't tapped it, but they're getting pretty close. And you can see that someone is defending this downward trend right here. So that's the trend being defended and the trend continues. Now, the moment you break through these levels, then yeah, I mean, you're probably coming back to the low again in this like little section of price. And so the same could be said over here. So if you break through and you can get through this and kind of like, I'm not saying you're squashing the trend. I'm just saying, establish yourself back in this zone and up. You're probably going to come up, take this high and challenge into these highs even. So it's one of those things where it's a matter of perspective and patience. It's hard to grasp at first, especially when money is on the line and you're excited. I always tell people not to get too excited about things for that reason. Write it down, journal it. And even if you mess it up, which is going to happen, I mess stuff up all the time still. As long as you're keeping track of that and writing it down, keeping track of your good habits so that you can reinforce those, and then keeping track of the negative ones so that you try not to do them as much, you're golden, man.
Yeah. Hey, Billy, super chat. Thank you, sir. Says flat smack the like button for the best beard in crypto and our boy Magic Internet Money, the chart with dude. That's a great name too. The Chart Whisperer. That is good. Hey, speaking of my beard, I took off almost 2 inches today. I don't know if anybody noticed, but I had no idea how long my beard was until I got into the barbershop, and I was like, man, I feel like my beard actually looks pretty long. Maybe we need to make a little change there. He's like, are you sure? He knows I love my beard, and we're like, okay, we're gonna do a little change. Side note, just real quick. Do smash the likes. Get involved with Danger Close Alpha. We've got a huge tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time Twitter space. That information is on on Twitter, Debate Crypto OG, and then also we've got it posted up there for Danger Close Alpha as well. We're going to be doing that with Blonde Broker, and we're going to be talking about the thing, right, that everybody was asked to do or told in some instances, and then we're going to talk about what do we call him? The old world champion kickboxer without saying his name. I guess we could describe him that way. A lot of people would know Cobra. Who he is. The Cobra. That's right.
Yeah.
And we're going to be talking about free speech. So that's 8 p.m. We're going to have a debate over on the Twitter Spaces. So I'm excited to have some wild discussion since Elon's going to allow us to
I actually just watched a TikTok. I'll send it to you. And it's a Romanian lawyer that gets into the details of the Romanian legal system and how they handle things like this. Because it's a different proceeding than the US. It's completely different.
I'm sure.
Yeah. And the way we're going through the details of it. And I was like, oh, this is actually really interesting. Like he cannot have bail because of the type of crime that it was. Like that's a no bailing offense. So he has to stay in jail for 30 days probably. And then they can keep continuing that for like 6 months if they want to. But
we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about it tonight. I have my own. No. I'm just telling you, I have my own opinions on it, on what's actually happening there. I think a lot of people have, people take positions with it, because the one thing and we'll talk about this tonight, but one thing that I think is super polarizing about him is how people handle him. And the way they handle him is they chop up little bits and pieces of what he says and then just give you a little part of it. I've said some wild things in the past as part of a bigger sentence or a bigger idea in which I needed more to be able to explain what I'm saying. And a lot of times things get taken out of context for sure. So
I've never done a Twitter Spaces before, but I did one the other day. It was really interesting. It's a neat platform.
Oh, that was your first time doing it?
Yeah.
It's interesting, dude. I tell you what, I like this format in terms of, I like being able to see you. I like the comment section. I'm comfortable with this. Twitter Spaces are totally a different beast, but they are a necessity as it relates to the NFT space. For Danger Close Alpha, for whatever reason, the conversions on TikTok and the conversions on YouTube as it relates to NFTs is just not good. But Twitter is where it's at. So that's what it is. All right, so Magic, what'd you say?
I was gonna say, Billy, just so you know, I am filling out. I'm maybe gonna do a 1-year beard. I call them yeards. I used to do them in the past.
Oh yeah, well, I can already tell you'll grow a great beard. You've got full beard coming in.
I've grown some big ones, not as big as yours, but like I've grown some big beards before, and
yeah,
I like it. I don't know. It's just maybe I'm bored with the hair. Yeah, we'll see what happens. See how much gray is in there.
Magic's coming after me. I got to tell you, there's a lot of gray that was hiding in mine, so you can see really on the side I get a lot more gray, but that's what it is. All right, so back to the charts, because nobody wants to listen to me talk about beards. Well, some of you might, but we're gonna get back onto the charts. So as I'm watching, I'm paying attention. I actually haven't been in a trade recently. I was gone for a little bit over a week. Somebody was joking and saying that my background's I'm not actually in my studio, that I'm actually in Jamaica with like a fake background right now because I've been traveling so much or whatever. So shout out. I think that was Unforgettable Name. You definitely gave me a laugh with that. So I hadn't been paying any attention whatsoever. I know things have been flat. Is there anything, or is there any opportunities or assets that you're looking at or that you have played around with recently, whether it's an altcoin, whether it's Bitcoin, whatever? I think you mentioned Solana, something about Solana. Yeah. Is there something that you have with one of the alts?
Yeah, we can look at Solana. We can look at a slew of them if you want. Okay. I think there's opportunity. There's always opportunity. It's just a matter of patience and waiting for that opportunity to come around.
Yeah, check it out.
So yeah, Solana is a really easy chart. So this is actually something I had covered.
Yeah, because it's just down. Like when it's down, you can trade the fact that it's going to be dumping. That's simple. Every time it goes down, just short it. Every time it goes down, short it. So you can short it like every other day.
So when me and Paul actually linked up and did the leading crypto thing a little over a year ago, this was one of the charts that we looked at for practice. And my target on it was just underneath $20.
Okay.
And so I was expecting this to come back down. Now that I know what's going on with Solana, I kind of think it might end up being a dead project.
Hold on, you had a target at when it was over $200. You had a target of $20.
All the way back into December of last year, I guess would have been the time. So when it was about right here, yeah.
Well,
I was looking for the Q3 high volume node, if I remember correctly.
So it was about $200 about then, right?
Yeah, there's a high volume node right here that I was looking at, and I was like, okay, this is really the make or break point. If we come down and reach this, and it breaks, you will see $20. And we came down, you swung fill the level, basically, you established a new range, came up, tagged your yearly pivot, and then just dumped. Very similar to what Bitcoin did, actually. But yeah, so when it was down at $80 and we got this move back up to like 143, I was like, dude, if this thing goes to $20, like I'm gonna kick myself in the ass for not shorting it. And of course, here I am. But when you look at this overall in terms of like a larger range, I had a structure range for the global on this guy. And basically this was the range I'm looking for. And you can see it ends right here. I had ended this, and this was the range I was showing and shilling on Sin City. And you can see that when we put it in log scale, because that's how I prefer to look at this one due to the nature of the move, this is going to be the EQ of the range. So we're looking for the mid range here. And you can see it's basically established from this low to this high. Volume also supports it. You've got a nice point of control at 278, which I do hold as my overall target. But if you look at the macro retracement on this thing, it came down to the overall gold pocket. So when people are like, oh, it's just bouncing out of nowhere, I'm like, it's literally the gold pocket from its all-time low to its all-time high. It's the 618, it's the mid-range. You're going to get a bounce there, especially when things are down this bad. So like, you have to expect that. You can't be shorting this thing hoping that you're going to catch an $8 down to zero move or whatever it went to. I had a position on it for a short up in this region, and Bybit, when all that FTX stuff went down, actually closed my position, and they said they weren't going to support it on perpetuals anymore. So I ended up, they gave me the Solana back, which I didn't really want at that time. And then they gave me the option of converting it to Bit token. So I just converted it to Bit token, and then I converted that to Bitcoin, and we call it a day. But if you're looking at this from where it is locally, you've got a weekly open down here. That's what I would be targeting if I was looking for a long. I'm not looking for a long personally, but if someone was looking for longs, this would be the area. But you've come back into this supply zone here. So you can see that you've swung failed this local high multiple times. So this has been constant resistance. I would expect to see that level most likely. We don't know that, but I would expect us to come up and probably tag $14.74. You've got some other levels here, just some old pivots, some, horizontal resistance. Like if you went out a little bit further from the weekly to the 2-week chart, you can see this is the last place you'd settled up before making the move down. So you would be looking at this in terms of, this is a zone between 1371 and 1474. That's resistance. If anything gets out of hand, I would be very, very interested in one, shorting another SFP of this level, or a failure here to push. Like if this just rolled over, I'd be interested in that as well. But if it got really out of hand at $17.65, like,
where are you going to short Solana? Where?
I'm gonna wait. I don't know. I have no idea, man. I'm not. Paul said you could still short it on Bybit, so I got to look into that. Maybe they put the futures back up, but I'd have to see that. But I'm not trading Solana. I'm just covering it because people ask me to. Yeah. It's a popular coin right now, and people are going to trade it because it is garnering, one, good volume, and two, a lot of just, notable interest. It's kind of like when Luna dumped, people still traded it. There's still people doing TA on Luna and still trading that, which I find wild. Yeah. I just wouldn't be one of those people that would be caught holding this. I know there's a lot of people that think that, the bad developers are gone and the new good ones are in, and it's just not a risk I'm willing to personally take with any sizable amount of money. Now, if you're like, hey, I only put 50 or $100 in there, and if it goes up, like I'm going to make you do whatever you want. Like, that's fine. Like if that's up to you. Yeah. It's up to you if you don't want to do that and you want to put more money in. It's your money. It's just, not what I would do with my money. And that's okay. It's like, but yeah, you can see the range here. If you were just looking at it from a range standpoint, like your highs are coming in right here as well. And you've got a really big volume node here. So I imagine price is going to hover around this for a little bit, whether it comes up and actually hits this range high, or maybe even as high as $17. But that's where I'm going to start looking at, like, okay, if this is going to fail, I'm going to take, the trade hopefully down to like $11 and then $9.99. And that's a nice move. The move up was really nice. This would be just as nice. If let's say you didn't even get the best entry and you just came down to here, it's like 19%. That's what I would do if I was a trader. I'd be looking at it like that. Okay. I just would be cautious because you're probably not the only one trying to short this coin. And we both know what happens when one side of the wagon gets off sides in terms of like longs and shorts. Typically the market's going to punish, the people that are offside. So there are market makers and like just the way it has to go, unfortunately. So just be careful with it. But if you get a really nice setup here, and you're into trading shit coins, this is the definition of one at this point. Like you might as well.
You heard it here first. Solana officially a shit coin, magic internet money.
100%. Yeah, 100%. I think if there was one out there, I know we throw that term around pretty loosely, but I feel like this and Luna and a few others probably fall into that category. Bitcoin Cash for anyone that's one of the issues that I've seen with Solana is that because there's so much, and this would be something that would concern me. I know you're just looking at specifically the charts, but I know a lot of the big money pays attention pretty close to the charts, right? Yeah. And so there was so much VC money. I don't know whether it's there anymore. It's probably not. They're probably part of the reason why it dropped so damn hard. But if there is any VC money that piles back into it, they're going to be able to play you on the shorts. They'll play you on the longs. Either way, you know what I mean? It's kind of one of those assets where I would stay away from it too. But there's a lot of people that still love it. I don't know. I hope you didn't create an NFT project on Solana. That's for sure. Nobody has,
you know,
they got a phone is that phone still coming out, or like what's happening with that? Like what's going on there?
I would be guilty as charged if I had to give you any good information on Solana. I have never been really one too interested in Solana. I think the main reason was because, you know, the t-shirt, right, had to support my girl here.
Oh yeah,
and
their Ethereum killer. Yeah, the Ethereum killer Solana.
The Ethereum killer
yeah.
down at
I remember when
$9.
Solana was ripping though, dude, and I was like, dude, I don't know what's going on with this token, but because they called it Summer of Solana or Solana Summer or something.
Yeah.
That was what was going on Twitter from some of the OGs in the space, which they're kind of notorious for, you know, shilling anyway. But
I've talked about it. I've talked about it a number of times. A good friend of mine, somebody that I care about a lot, had effectively his down payment for his house money in Solana sitting there, and had asked me, you know, what do you think? We go into this, we go into that. And I said, you know, bro, like just candidly, I don't know. So I will never give you that answer with your down payment money. So let's be clear about that.
Yeah.
But I just don't really see it, man. It's just, I don't know. It's just not, it doesn't feel good to me. And unfortunately, you know, he learned some of that lesson the hard way. So
that's a tough lesson to learn, man. And I've seen that happen a lot. Like back in was it 2020 or 2021? I think it was 2020 going into 2021. NIO, it's a stock, is an EV stock, you know.
NIO, I made a ton of money on NIO.
Yeah, me too. We got it in
I took that from like, I was gonna say I took that down. I think I took that from like $4 or a little bit less than that.
I'd sold a lot of my position by the time it got
65 or something like that.
Yeah, and I was sitting there and I was on Facebook and I was cruising my personal Facebook feed, and I want to say it was just, I don't want to say his name, but I know who it was now. And he was like, I'm thinking about refinancing my house to buy more NIO. And I was like, do I have any NIO left? And I went and looked at the chart and I was like, I got to sell all this. And I literally made a chart and I put it on his wall. And I said, just so you know, this is going to make one more high and it's going to make a head and shoulders up here at the highs, and it'll dump all the way down sub $20. I think it's way beneath that now. And he was like, there's no way. And I was like, honestly, your post makes me think it's going to happen. And like,
oh, you told him that?
Yeah, straight up. I was like, generally when you see posts, because there were people that were saying that's a good idea. And I was like, that's a terrible idea, man. Like,
they were supposedly this big, you know, Chinese electric car maker. When the truth came out, not so much.
It happens. It happens all the time, even in traditional markets. Crypto is not the only thing that has pump and dump scams, guys.
Yeah. and I always love on top of that, like when people do lose money like that, A, it's sad and it sucks. B, there comes a point where depending on how invested you were, it gets down, and you just don't want to cut the cord because you're like, well, I'm down so far anyway. I might as well like just maybe wait and see if somehow, some way they pull out of this. But you know, when the family starts talking about, you know, oh, how's your crypto doing? You know, just of joking or jabbing. I'm like, hey, let's all remember while we talk about crypto when I got in, and I'm still massively in profit. So I'm not like hurt by the little jabs. You know what I mean?
We don't even have those conversations. I just get text messages now. They're like, are you still short? I'm like, yeah, man.
Oh, short. So they know, they know, yeah, that's right.
They know how I stand. If the short's open, they're like, all right, whatever. I'm like, okay, yeah.
Well, Crypto Fam, trading is one of those things that we bring on the pros for. That's why we've got Magic here. Thank you all for being here. Make sure that you follow Magic Internet Money. That's Leading Crypto on YouTube. That link is down below the video, and then we will get the Discord link out to you guys.
You can you can bypass that. Leadingcrypto.io. We have a website.
Okay.
So you guys can literally go there. It shows you everything that we offer. You can find us on YouTube, all that stuff. Like that's probably the easiest way to do it.
Leadingcrypto.io. So if you guys are looking to get more involved with Magic and trying to learn some of these patterns and the volume profiles and a lot of the stuff that he brings to the table, I can tell you he's been really successful. So check him out. Well, Crypto Fam, we love you guys. We hope everyone has a fantastic day. Just remember, question everything, trust nothing. And until next time, hodl like it's hot. We will see you soon.